So I'm going to talk about Hardwig and his essay, and this is not even titled well because Hardwig is not really arguing for euthanasia. It's related, but it's not the same thing. He's actually arguing for the possibility that you might have a duty to die, which is quite a bit more extreme. I mean, if you have a duty to do something, that means you should do it. I mean, you have a duty to do it. And so this is a pretty hardcore. Hardwig is hardcore. Yes, he is. I was trying to find some videos of people talking about this besides me, and all I got was a bunch of mostly religious folks, which is okay, but just railing against it and not really explaining it. so you know, that's not good. Let me explain this position that he has. It's extreme, but it's not crazy. The man is not totally out of his mind. He makes a reasonable case. Do you have a duty to die? Notice that he writes in the first person. That actually is helpful because he's not trying to, well, at least in the way he writes, he's not trying to say you have a duty to die. He's asking the question of whether or not he has a duty to die. And it really, it really hinges on, well, first of all, he mentions that the idea that you might have a duty to die is not insane because there are the lifeboat cases, which is a kind of a cliche a little bit in ethics. Lots of people bring these kind of things up where, you have to save someone. There's not enough room in a lifeboat. Somebody has to go. Somebody has, who are you going to save? That's the idea behind that. But in his case, really, when he's the phrase where he says, ironically, wiping out diseases might lead to most of us becoming debilitated and demented. That's kind of the key that he's pushing for here. One of his big arguments revolves around the individualistic fantasy, which is also a very interesting point that he makes here, that very often when you're thinking about medical decisions, it's always what is best for the patient. And it ignores all the people that the patient is affecting, the family, the doctors, the whole system. And his point is that you should take into consideration the whole of that. How much are you affecting others when you're making these decisions? Again, I'm not going to go through every argument. Very key and very central to Hardwig's argument is, how does it affect your family? And when he talks about whether he has a duty to die, it's pretty much, he says it may be other things. He does say that, he does say it could be society in general, could be the environment. He even mentions that, but very, very, very central to his whole argument is how it's going to affect his family. What impact is he going to have on his family if he persists on trying to live when his chances of survival are low, healthcare costs are high, which he totally does bring in here. Other people may not bring that in. Hardwig absolutely does talk about the costs of it financially, especially when he talks about the 54-year-old woman and the old lady mother. That example, pretty hard-hitting example, realistic too. I mean, do you want to put your family through this? where is that? Sorry. Anyway, the example's in the text. So his idea is that he may have a duty to his family to simply die rather than burden them with his healthcare costs, but also, and this is absolutely true. Most people don't die in nursing homes or hospitals. Most people die at home, and it's the family members, the family that has to take care of them. And they make huge sacrifices to do this. They have to often have to quit their jobs, because if someone is incapacitated, you got to watch them 24 hours a day. You got to take them to the bathroom, all these things. You got to give them constant care. You might lose your job. You might lose all your savings. It's a tremendous burden that you're putting on your family just to hang on when you're already dying. And Hardwig's argument is basically, I don't want to do that to my family. I just don't want to do it to, I'm not going to do that to my family. So like I said, it sounds kind of crazy when you first hear it, but it's a reasonable moral position to take. You may agree or disagree, but anyways, read the thing carefully. Again, it's structured very much like the other essays. Here's answering counter objections or counter arguments. Do you have a duty to God? And, you know, these kinds of things. The question of incompetence is a very, very interesting one here too, because he absolutely argues that if you're incompetent, you can't have the duty, because how could you have a duty if you're incompetent, which makes total sense. But the implication of that is really something to think about, because that means if you're physically healthy, but you're losing your mind, you might have to kill yourself, which is what he's talking about, before you're even really going to die, just when you're losing your competence. That's, he's got a pretty extreme position. Like I said, it's not, but you know, you need to think about it. It's not, it's all about caring for, he's really caring about his family and what burdens he's going to place on his family. And that's why he thinks he has this duty. So it's not at all insane. All right, I'm going to leave you to think about it. Don't reject it out of hand.